Hi everybody and welcome back to Tales of Wanderlust. I'm Cass and today I'm going to be cleaning out my 4Runner. So if you're interested what I have in here after 4 years of travel, stay tuned. Alright, now as many of you know, I am trading in the 4Runner so I can get a pickup truck in order to put the truck camper onto it. The first step to trading this in is going to be clearing it out. I have so much stuff stored in here. It's going to be interesting what we find. So I thought it would be fun to bring you guys along, show you what I carry with me while I travel, and it's also going to be interesting to see what of this stuff I actually use. The trunk area is actually a little bit more empty than it normally is because when I travel with the base camp, I do carry my solar panels back here, extra dog food, things like that. So I've actually already cleaned some of that stuff out. Back here in the trunk floor area, it's pretty clean, but it's going to be clearing out these different storage panels in the rack, and we'll see what we find there. So to start right here, I have a few of these pouches that carry a bunch in them. This pouch, it's filled with bungee cords, extra straps, a couple of rags, fire starters, different things like that, an extra pin for the trailer hitch. So just those miscellaneous type items, and I do use those quite often. Then I have my DeWalt drill. This has the battery charger, extra battery, drill, everything in it, and I use that to lower the rear stabilizers on the base camp. These are all of the cords for my ARB onboard air compressor. So I am actually going to be pulling the air compressor out of the 4Runner and putting it into my new truck. So definitely need those. Next, a lot of bug stuff. I am an attractor to mosquitoes. They love me. These are Skin So Soft towelettes. Love these things. I carry a ton with me because I use them all the time. Jasper has his play football. One of these microfiber small towels in the back. I use this in case Jasper ever gets super dirty or if for some reason I get wet. It's great to just have a towel in the back of the 4Runner. Duct tape. Gotta have your duct tape. Another dog toy. A bag of just bungee cords. These are the ones with that have the ball on the end so you can loop around. I actually use these to connect things to the roof rack. Next are my Hokena flares. They are battery operated flares. Thankfully I've never had to use them, but in the event of an emergency, I do have 3 emergency road flares. Then I have an emo hammock. I have carried this the entire time I've traveled. I have absolutely never used it. Actually no, I think I set it up once. Next I have more, because I'm throwing it everywhere, more bug stuff. Then I have Jasper's sleeping bag. This is for when he and I go backpacking. This is to keep him warm, but also to have something for him to sleep on. I do actually carry all of my backpacking gear with me when I travel, but I've only backpacked once. Next is a set of binoculars. I have actually used these quite often to try to see if there's animals or something like that in the distance. They're not very good ones. They're pretty cheap Nikon ones. So someday I do want to get nicer binoculars, but they are fun to have. LED blow up solar powered lantern. So you blow it up here, there's a little solar panel on top, you can lift it up, it's a little lantern. It's meant for backpacking. I also carry it with me in case I need another light source. I've never used it. Next is my sun hat. I actually use that every single time I go hiking in the sun, and if I'm just gonna be out in the sun for a while. Hatchet. I have used this maybe once or twice, although I will still carry this with me in the truck because it is good to have a hatchet along just in case. This first aid kit, which has Velcro straps so it can clip onto the mole system. I purchased this as a kit and I've added more things to it as I've used stuff out of it. Highly recommend carrying a first aid kit with you. I've used that a lot actually. When I cut open my finger with a wine opener, that first aid kit came in handy. Paracord, for the most part, I have just taken off little pieces when I need it. I have used the whole thing to make a clothes drying rack when I didn't have a dryer. So very useful to have some paracord around. Next are the straps for the hammock that I rarely ever use. These are emergency blankets, so if I ever get in an accident and I need warmth, but I'm not sure what happened, there are none in there. Here's one of the pouches. I have owner's manuals for my Garmin InReach in there. If I ever needed to repair anything, I have everything from a sewing kit in there. And I have a book light. So when I slept in the back of the 4Runner a lot, I did read in here and I would use that. instead of using the ceiling lights. Next, I have a very large Gerber knife, which again, I have never used. I'm really not sure why I have that one along. More bug stuff. Owner's manuals and all the repair bills and everything like that for the 4Runner. And that's that side. I have a collapsible dog bowl, which is what I use when Jasper and I go off-roading. I usually also hang my day pack on here. So that's my pack for when I go hiking. It's got my GPS, extra first aid, snack bars, things like that. But that's inside right now. So I just have the carabiner. I have Jasper's Fido airlift. So if Jasper goes on a hike with me, this comes with me. And just in case he ever gets injured, it's actually a backpack. So it straps around all 4 of his legs. Then I carry him like a backpack and I can get him out. And then I have his vest here as well. He's not a fan of strangers coming up to him and just petting him or touching him. So I put this vest on. It says ask to pet on it. And that keeps people from just approaching him without asking. And then I also have the extra pouches. So if I ever need to store anything, I can attach those pouches to his vest and he carries it around. Wet wipes, always good to carry wet wipes. I use these all the time, although this packet is broken, so they're all dried out right now. I have another dog water bowl, so I've actually got 2 of them. I have a roll of heavy duty garbage bags. I actually use these garbage bags a lot to clean up campsites, which is kind of sad. But if I get to a site, it's covered in trash. This is what I use to clean it up. This is all of my wood carving stuff. Knives, I have gloves so I don't cut myself. I actually have pieces of wood in here. And this is a hobby that I thought I would do while on the road. But honestly, I spend more time hanging out with Jasper. There is so much dog hair in here. All right, the next bag I had over there is gloves. I do keep winter gloves in here. I have extra winter hats in case anybody comes along. I have used those actually quite often. I have fishing gloves, and then I have heavy duty leather gloves. The only time I've ever used those is when I was camping with some friends and we did have a fire and we needed to move the skillet around the fire. Next is one of the pouches that was attached to the bottom of this cargo. This is my toilet paper pouch. So there's a roll of toilet paper in here, and then in the front I have the deuce of spades. It's a trowel. So if I'm out anywhere and I need to go to the bathroom, that is my kit for it. All right, and the final pouch is actually a mystery to me. I'm not quite sure. Oh, it's the screens. So these screens go on the 4Runner doors. So when I slept in the back, I would put those screens on the doors and get air ventilation, but then not have to worry about Napoleon escaping. And then up top here on the shelf, I have a really nice scarf, never used. My extra down jacket, so this is my lighter jacket. And then I have my ski jacket as well. And then I have a shovel. And honestly, as I'm grabbing the front, there's a lot of cattle that graze on BLM land, so there might be cow pies when you go onto a boondocking site. So this is my shovel to get those cow pies out of the way. All right, and that is it. The other thing that I did have back here that I removed earlier, back of these seats had a holder where I put my shoes. So I carry with me my hiking boots, a pair of warm boots, 1 pair of dress boots, a pair of sandals, a pair of running shoes, and then a pair of sneakers. And it had all of the slots where I could put those. And then I had a little bit of extra storage. So you can see I stored some tools down here, some zip ties, base camp tire changing tools, and hitch changing tools if I needed. Now in the back seat, I do have cleaning chemicals and protectant so that I could clean my car. Those I truly have not used in probably 50,000 miles. Plastic gloves, I use these all the time when I dump my gray and black tank out of the base camp. A folder that just slid into the back seat of the 4Runner. This is all of the vet paperwork for Jasper and Napoleon. So this one is a really important one I carry with me. That way, if they need to go to a vet for any reason at all, I have all of their medical records, and we don't need to be tracking down vets from all over the country. Then I have a notepad with a lot of dimensions on it, and I am not sure what that was for. So I carry water jugs with me when I have the base camp. I carry 8 gallons of extra water, and it just sits right here behind the seat. I have an ARB tire plug kit. Thankfully, I have never had to use this. Next, I have the 12-volt charger for my work laptop. That way, if I ever need to work out of my truck, which I have done at some times, I have a charger for my work computer. My toolkit. So this thing is pretty heavy. This is completely filled with all of the tools except my ratchet set that I carry on the road. So I've got pliers, I've got screwdrivers, I've got bunch of bits for the screwdriver, clamps, and a whole lot of miscellaneous tools. This comes in handy a lot. Then is that ratchet set I was telling you about. This is another thing that I have used a lot more than I ever thought. So this is just a basic 28-piece Stanley set. It's got quite a variety. It won't do everything that you may run into, but I actually use this all the time. I have my archery glove because I do shoot a recurve bow and I do carry it with me. This is my national park passport book. It's got maps of the different regions. My mom bought this for me when she came out to travel with me, and she and I went to some national parks. So I carry this everywhere with me. I try to get stamps everywhere I go, but I can say sometimes I do forget. A can of WD-40. I've actually never used that, surprisingly. And then I carry Back to Black, which is a plastic polisher. So I use this to keep the black plastic trims on the base camp looking newer. All right, that's it in the back seat. Well, we made it to the front seat, but it is getting really dark out. So in the front seat is a lot more stuff that I actually use quite often. So the first thing is a cell phone holder that clips right into the heating vents. It's where my phone rests so I can see the GPS. Next on my dash is Borealis Bear. My parents got this little guy for me when I was first starting to travel, and it's just a tradition in my family. We all have some sort of mascot that comes with us. If you ever see pictures of my dash when I'm driving, you're always going to see his little butt and his little feet because he faces out the front window in every vehicle that I own, and he kind of navigates us on our way. Next are all of my sunglasses. I carry 2 pair, sometimes even more, because I am terrible with sunglasses and I break them. Next is my day-to-day wallet. So I actually made this wallet out of some scrap leather that I just sewed together. It's nice and thin. It fits right into my day pack, jacket pockets, things like that. Hand sanitizer with a hand pump. Hand pump makes it a lot easier. Michael's garage door opener that he doesn't know I stole. So if he's ever looking for it, found it. Tire pressure monitor system for the base camp. This is the TST system. It plugs right into the USB. Phone charger. I always have my phone plugged in when I'm in the car, mostly because when I'm camping in the base camp, every little bit of power I can steal out of the car versus out of my base camp batteries is a little less solar I have to generate. Then my glove box, just in case I ever need to clean something, or if I'm sleeping in the truck and I need to take a bath. Usually I have all sorts of Tootsie Pops as well as protein bars in there. So when I'm driving on a long trip, the protein bars will feed me if I can't find a restaurant. The Tootsie Pops keep me entertained. One of the ways to get through a really long drive, some sort of food that takes a while to eat, like popcorn, grapes, cherries, anything like that. So you'll actually always find Tootsie Pops in my glove compartment. The center console has an organizer in it, which really has given me a lot of extra storage. So on top, there is a tray. In that tray, I carry everything from hand lotion, a lighter, extra charging cords, chapstick, and then I have this knife, which has the seatbelt cutter and the window brake on it. Then in the bottom of the center console, I carry an extra pair of gloves. Those stay in here all the time, so in case I'm out and it gets too cold or I have an accident and then the temperature drops. A little change purse, which is great for the laundromat. I have the valet key for the 4Runner hidden in there. The reason is in case I was ever on a hike or something like that and I lost my keys. This way, I had a key in the vehicle and I could get away. It might mean I would have had to smash a window to get in, but if I was in the middle of nowhere, there was no cell signal, smashing a window and getting a key would have been a lot better than not having anything to drive the vehicle with. And then I have gum, because I always have gum in my car. Extra caps for the tires. These are for the stem to fill it up with air. I find that those fall off all the time. Swiss Army knife. Oh, these are extra rivets for the Airstream. I was looking for those. There's an emergency blanket, so at least I had one in the car. Not that I actually knew where it was. Then I've got some hair ties, headphones, tweezers, and then this little thing has actually been pretty amazing. So this is a handheld chainsaw. This thing can actually cut through quite the logs. 2 people makes it easier. You can use it with 1 person, and it actually is pretty impressive how it can chop. Extra leash for Jasper and Napoleon. And then in my driver's side door, I do carry white lithium grease. I use this a lot on the base camp to keep the hitch ball greased up and also the doors. And then I also carry a tire pressure monitor with me. I like this one because it's got a really easy to read front dial. I use that for the base camp, for the truck. when I air down and air up the tires when I go off-road. So this little guy gets used quite often. Then the other thing I keep in the door is Windex wipes. So sometimes the inside of your windshield gets really dirty, and these come in handy to keep it clean so you can actually see when you're driving. That is finally it. That is everything I had stored in the 4Runner. So if you have any questions on any of the things I carried or how I use them, feel free to comment below and I'll respond. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.